gonna start recording now. I am gonna record this just in case, but I definitely encourage you guys to stay to the end. I am going to do a couple things. I wanna do a giveaway with those of you who are here, and I have a couple different things for you. So stick around if you can. Okay, so let's see here. I wanna read this quick. Yes, pain management, love it, Katie. Can I really be successful online? I love that. Can I really do this? Yeah, all of the questions in your head for sure. 5 minutes at the top of the hour. Perfect. Cool. I'm going to try to be as succinct as possible. I know I could talk on forever. So great. Okay, so who am I? My stories. Who am I to be telling you this? Why should you listen to me, right? I definitely have been where you guys are. If you're feeling frustrated in your business, if you are shifting into something new, doing something new for the first time, whether it's online, whether it's in a new career path, in business, starting a second business, starting a third business. I have 3 businesses. When I first started my photography business, which was my first business, it was kind of that, I was too naive to know what I was getting into. I really just jumped in and kind of winged it, right? Like failing and succeeding through trial and error for the first probably 4 years of my business. It was not an overnight success by any means. The first year of business, I made $520, and I was very, very proud of that, right? Definitely not an overnight success. And that was okay at the time. I also had a full-time job. I was going to school. You know, that's really what I wanted it to be, was just some side income. So while it wasn't growing fast at all, it was also okay, right? So I know when you're first starting your business, a lot of that pressure and that stress really depends on what you want it to be. If you've left your day job already, you're probably feeling more of that pressure to make it happen and make money in your business, versus if you have a day job still, and this is maybe supplementing your income, or you're trying to get it started on the side, right? Could look so different. So depending on where you're at, you're feeling a lot of different things. So when I was first getting started, I had that full-time job. I was going to school and I was starting a business. So it looked very different. Second business rolls around. I have my second, or the idea for my second business, which is this business, my coaching business. And I really had the passion to help other new entrepreneurs, just like we're doing today, build businesses. Really, like at the time it was creatives building businesses, because that's kind of the direction I took at first. But just more so having that feeling of doing my photography, doing something I loved and actually being able to make money doing it, and knowing that it could work. That was like the best feeling in the world. And I wanted more people to have that. They didn't have to just stay stuck at a day job. They didn't have to feel unfulfilled and stay stuck in that place, that they could do this. It was possible. And I wanted to be that coach to help them do that. And I sat on that idea for 4 years. It took me forever to get started. And most of that was mindset. It was like, who am I to teach others how to run a business, right? Who am I to coach other people or tell them, how to run a business when my first business is hardly working right now, right? The first year of $520. That's not exactly the success that people want. So lots and lots of mindset stuff, limiting beliefs, really just not having that confidence, right? Having that imposter syndrome show up tremendously. And even when I did finally get it started 4 years later, I hired the coaches. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm all in. I ran my first beta test, which was great. Had a couple clients, definitely did some free stuff to build that confidence up. Thank you, Katie. And just really kept pushing to do it. And after I did that initial beta test and really wanted to fully get the business going, part of that, I finished school. I was still working a full-time job. I was now running one of my businesses, and I was starting the second business. So sure, there was a lot on my plate. But even more so, it was like, I did this once, and yet this business feels so different. So if you're transitioning, if you're starting a second one, if you're doing something new, it's amazing how different 2 businesses can be, even though at the end of the day, they're both business. there have been still to this day, so many differences between the two businesses. And all I could think about was, I've done this before. Why isn't this working for me now? Why can I not get a client? I went nearly a year without signing my first client, which was so frustrating. I really wanted to throw in the towel a couple times, but I was really close, really, really close. The fall of 2019, and just really didn't know what I was doing wrong to make it work. I had all the things, right? I had the website, I had the social media, I was posting, I was doing all of the things with like no results. And that burnt me out hard. So if you're feeling frustrated, if it's the lack of confidence, if it's not having proof that you can do this or make money doing it, and you still have that drive to make this happen, you can do this. And I know it's a lot more than saying that it's possible for you, which is what we're going to go through today. But that's a huge part of it, is just knowing that like, if I can do this, you can do it too, because I wasn't an overnight success. I wasn't anything special. I was literally just like you. So I want to start there and say that. And now, like, let's get into the content. So like, what are some of those things that you need? Like, what did I learn through that process? Obviously I did make it happen, right? Like, I wasn't just staying stuck. I decided not to throw in the towel, even though how close I was to doing that. I decided not to. I decided to keep going, and finally made it happen. So what was that, right? Like, what did I do to finally make it work? And these 6 core things were the things I realized I needed to have. And some of them, like I said, some of them, it's not always just the tactical piece. Some of them are a lot of the mindset. Some of it is a lot of that, the other things. It's not just a 6-step process of do these things and you'll be successful, right? So I really want you to consider those things as we go. So, okay, number 1, let's see here. Okay, number 1, I want to kind of explain in 2 parts. We're going to talk about mindset and what I call like the hashtag watch me mindset. So if you guys have been following me, you may have seen I use hashtag watch me a lot. It's actually being trademarked as my brand right now, which is exciting. But even more so because, like, a little story on where this came from was through that process of, you know, between not getting clients, not feeling like I could do this, really wanting to throw in the towel, feeling frustrated, and yet believing in it enough because I felt like this is what I was meant to do, to be that crazy person to do it anyway, right? And then also, you guys might have seen too, I know some of you guys know, I'm very multi-passionate, right? Multiple businesses, multiple passions. Usually I have paintings up on the wall, but we're moving, so you can't see that right now. But there's so many things that I like. Yes, I love that, Amy. There's so many things that I enjoy and have to do. And I remember when I was starting my second business, my coaching business, I was told by so many coaches, mentors, people in business, people in general, that I couldn't do it all, that I should just choose one thing, that I couldn't be successful if I tried to do it all. And like, really, I needed to just choose one thing. And I did try that for a while and I wasn't happy. I always like to say, if that was true, I could have just gone back to a day job and been happy there, right? Being happy doing that one thing. But that wasn't me. I needed to do multiple things, whether that was hobbies and passions or it meant building multiple businesses. And that's what I decided to do. So that's really where this hashtag watch me comes in. Of I decided that that's not what I was going to do. I wasn't going to follow everyone else's path. It never felt aligned. It never felt right to me. And it definitely didn't make me happy. So I decided to kind of pave my own path and do it anyway, which is really where that came from. And I use this as a brand now. And I really encourage you guys to, this is why it's not, I've had other people explain this and I really loved how they said this, was it's not about, you know, watch her, like watch me specifically on like, watch me do this. It's really this, like, I want you to take on that personal aspect of that on like hashtag watch me yourself. Do it because this might mean you paving your own path in business, in your life, in your own confidence, in your career in general, in your relationship, like whatever that looks like, any area of your life, you may have been told by other people that you can't do it, or you can't be successful, or that you should do it another way. And that has never felt right to you. So if that's you, I definitely encourage you to adopt that, right? And like hashtag watch me. I'm going to pave my own path, and I'm going to do what feels right to me, because that's what I know is going to make you the happiest, because that is the biggest thing that has helped me become my happiest version of myself, right? Let alone my most successful self in business and things like that. But like being and feeling fully happy is when I went after the things that truly made me and that I wanted. So that's kind of where that comes from. But going back to the mindset piece of having a hashtag watch me mindset in business, and just really paying attention to your mindset in general, is there's so many things, as we know, you guys were sharing them in the chat earlier, is about, can I really do this, right? Questioning yourself, not having that proof yet to see if you can actually make this work, or not feeling confident yet, right? To be able to do that, whether that's just in general for your business, maybe that's selling, maybe that's, fill in the blank of what that confidence is or lack of. All of this imposter syndrome, questioning yourself, limiting beliefs, these doubts that you have, of course, this is something you haven't done yet. So you're not going to have proof. You're not going to have evidence, which is usually what our logical brain looks for, is we need that evidence to support a truth, right? I could go on this for forever, but like neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, the study of our unconscious mind and the brain and how it works and everything, we have these neural pathways where something like a thought pattern that we have, right? A thought that comes up, and then our brain looks for proof for that. It looks for evidence to make that true, right? This is why so many of our beliefs and thoughts and things that we think are true happen when we were kids, right? Because we were programmed that way. I won't get into all the details. Obviously, I could talk a whole training on that. But when we have been programmed to think a certain way, or to even like have certain beliefs about money, or about success, or about business, or about your own success, confidence, skills, intelligence, like seriously anything, right? Like we have been programmed from our childhood, from people around us, from other evidence and proof that we've had, which is the piece that gets in the way for moving into something that you've never done before. And not having that proof or evidence is really what stops you from moving forward, or from believing that it's possible, because you don't have that yet, right? Of course you don't. You haven't done it. So really adopting this hashtag watch me mindset and like diving into a lot of those limiting beliefs and what's keeping you stuck, that is the majority, I want to say, of what's going to make you successful, like make or break your business. And just having the awareness of what are the thoughts that are coming in your head when you are thinking about business, when you are working on your business, when you are trying to make a sale, when you're talking to someone about your offer, what you're selling, right? Anything. Noticing the thoughts that are coming in your head and realizing that they aren't necessarily true, but it's what you believe to be true right now, and you get to change this. So that is a choice. And sometimes just that awareness and taking that new approach to that can be super helpful, to know that the things that maybe your brain or your mind is like, okay, this isn't going to work, or, whatever those thought patterns are that you keep spiraling on, just approaching that differently and knowing that that's not true, or it, at the very least, maybe it isn't true, right? To question your own thought and getting to choose something else can be huge, right? Because then maybe you can approach your business in a different way. You can take action in a different way, instead of just taking the same action and ending up with the same result, right? Like definition of insanity. Keep doing the same things over and over and expecting something different. So much stuff that I could go into on mindset. if you do journaling, if you are reading things, this is an opportunity to just, with that thought, start thinking about things differently. Really interrupt your own patterns of thinking and start to approach things differently and take new action. Do something different than you haven't before, because 9 times out of 10, that's going to help you move forward, at least in a different way. I talk to my clients a lot about the idea of failure and, you know, whether you feel like you're going to fail at something or you're just afraid of failing, knowing that those are just lessons. But I always like to bring up all of the different celebrities or successful people who have, like Thomas Edison. I love J.K. Rowling as a big one. Walt Disney is a huge one, where they have all had huge failures that have taught them what not to do. And instead, like, they've had huge successes from their failures, right? It is just another learning step, but not stopping at that failure or the lesson as proof, but instead pushing it, #WatchMe, in a new path to still make it happen for yourself. Good, good, good. Okay, number 2, you need to create a profitable foundation for your business. This, first and foremost, is, I feel like, the thing that trips us up as new business owners. Is there's so much noise in the online space, especially, but in general, like, you're seeing all of these successful businesses, whether you're just walking down the street and you see stores, or you're getting marketing emails, you know, in your inbox constantly, you're on social media and seeing other people's businesses. What do you actually see, right? You see the logo, you see the website, you see the branding, you see all of these different things that they have. And then your brain is like, okay, in order to create a successful business, I need all of these things. And what your brain does, especially for those perfectionists out there, type A people, you're like, I need all of those things before I actually get started, right? I need all of those things to get started in my business. And that is not the truth. And even more so, you don't need those things to get started, which is what trips so many people up. Or even the thought of, I know a lot of my clients will talk about having a social media profile for their business and getting, you know, all of the profiles set up for their business. You don't even need that. You really, like, I like to tell the story. My 3rd business, I have a small VA agency. That business has been consistently successful for what I want it to be. And I've never had a website. I literally have like nothing. The only thing I have for that business is a Google document with information. I do not have a website, no social medias, no emails. I use like a personal email, honestly, for that one. That's just my name. I don't have a logo. I don't have branding. I don't have anything. I have a Google document with information about what we do, what the services we provide, what the offers are, some testimonials. That's about it. That's really all you need. So when I talk about creating a profitable foundation for your business, it really comes back to, using like business technical terms, it really comes back to your business model, right? At the end of the day, to have a business, what are you going to sell to make money to have a business, right? Like, it really is simplified to that, is what are you going to sell? How are you going to make money in your business? As long as you're set up to be, you know, a for-profit business. Of course, nonprofit is a completely separate thing, but how are you going to make money in your business? And I will say, like, even nonprofits have to have a business model, right? They have to bring in income to pay their people. Won't go down that road. But to have that profitable business foundation, that's the very simplified thing of what you need. Is you need to have a product, service, offer, something to sell, and then you have to go sell it. And whatever you need to support that, of course, you know, having a logo, having branding, having a website, of course, all of those things are tools, social media profiles, to help you do that, to help you sell, get in front of people, do all of the things. But you really don't need any of that to get started. You need a product to sell, service, offer. I like to call it offer because then it's kind of either way. You need to have an offer to sell. You need to get in front of people who will buy that thing, and you need to sell it to them, right? And then in exchange, you sell that for, usually for money, right? Let's be real. When you're first getting started, this could even look like, you know, testimonials. Maybe you do a few like either beta test things or free, which I'm going to get to later, just to build your confidence first in exchange for a testimonial, a feedback, taking a survey, whatever you need for your business. Of course, there's still an exchange of some type of energy there that you're selling, right? Because you have to still sell that. So if you don't feel good about selling something for money yet, which goes back to the mindset piece, which I could go on a tangent of in and of itself about money mindset, but I totally just lost my train of thought. Money mindset, selling, nope, it's gone. But having something to sell and then going to sell it, getting in front of people to buy it, or at least having some sort of exchange, the mindset piece. That's really where you start. That's all you need. So for those of you, let's see, right? I'm going to make some things up because I don't know your business like in and out, right? But like career coach, perfect. You probably have an offer to do coaching, right? About someone's career to make a career change or something, right? Like that service is your offer. Then getting in front of those people to go sell that to them. Same thing. So coaching, again, probably more service-based. I feel like we have a lot of different types of coaches in here, which is great. So we'll just use coaching, for example. So you probably have more, oh, beauty consultant, perfect. So is that more service or product or both? I know I can think of some different things, but really deciding that, and that's if you haven't decided that yet, right? This is what you get to decide is what will you be selling as a beauty consultant? Are you selling services to train people to how to do their makeup or something? Again, making things up. Are you selling them physical products for like beauty products? Are you selling them a combination of maybe it's like a lesson using their own products? I don't know. Again, making things up, but different things. You just have to decide on that. My biggest tip for you there is, especially if you're first getting started, start with one offer. I know I definitely made the mistake too, especially when you see so much about having like a sales funnel, right? Having a good sales funnel set up with all of these different things, or like you need the freebie and then you need the low offer and then you need the high end offer, like the signature offer, like all of those things. Don't get caught up in that, especially when you're first getting started. Again, that is a great tool for business down the road. You don't need that now. Right now, I definitely encourage you, just start with one offer and get really, really good in all of the different areas we're going to talk about here next with that one offer so that you can feel really good about selling it and build up your confidence to go and sell that thing. Okay, number 3, I like to talk about this one as discovering your superpower. This is something I feel like you always have, and you kind of always have an awareness of. But when you're first getting started, it's really easy to be, you know, doing all the trainings. And again, like I appreciate you guys for being here today. I'm not saying anything bad about that. Doing all the trainings, listening to the podcasts, reading books, doing courses, programs, like you're like a sponge, right? You're like, I don't know how to run a business. I'm still learning. You want to soak it all in, right? Which is great. Like I said, I'm a huge like lifetime learner here. If I could just learn all day and get paid for that, I'd probably do it. But when you are learning constantly, you forget to really infuse you and what makes you unique or different. Especially, I'm guessing, let me know if this is true for all of you, but I'm guessing that all of you here are starting your own business and you're really that solo entrepreneur, building it from the ground up by yourself, probably feeling alone in some aspect of that. So glad that you're here today. Connect with the other ladies here. But if that's true, like you don't have anyone supporting you. You don't have a marketing structure or other things really like given to you. Like you're having to create all of this, which is again, like exciting and scary because it's hard and you're wearing multiple hats. You're doing it all. When you're learning and you continue to take in information, you're learning of especially what other people have done to be successful. right? You're learning what has worked for them, which doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work for you, which is the frustrating part. Definitely have been there multiple times, especially there's a lot of like marketing tactics out there too, like the make 5K in 5 days or things like that, right? Where you Katie rolled the eyes. Yes. Yeah, totally hear you on that. But just because it worked for someone else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And the biggest piece of that, which I feel like I didn't have when I was first getting started, is not only that it wasn't going to like work that easy for me, but it was because it was somebody else's steps, right? And it probably included what makes them unique, what makes them different, what's really going to set them apart. So when I'm just kind of copycatting those steps, it's just like, first of all, it's not going to feel right to me because it's not me. But second of all, it's not going to have anything about me. It's going to be me kind of copying them or like mirroring what they're doing. So it's just bland, right? It's like, it's got no flavor. It's got no spice. It really doesn't have that brand that's going to set you apart. It doesn't have any sizzle. I don't know, like whatever word you want to fill in there. It's not going to have what's going to set you apart. So really being able to discover like, what is your superpower? Because at the end of the day, just like I was talking about with having, 2 or 3 different businesses and how they all feel so drastically different, the thing that is going to be your superpower is what is going to, sorry, my brain is not working. The piece that's really gonna, okay, that's where I was going with that. I apologize. Business at the end of the day is business, right? Of course you need some of the core things to get you started. But having that unique piece, having that superpower is really what's going to separate you in your industry from the other products and services, from your competition, to the point where it's like you don't even have competition because you're so different, right? You have to have that, your own flavor to it. You have to have why someone would work with you versus someone who has the same thing that they're offering, right? Because it's going to come from you. I always like to really explain that people want to buy from people, not from like, especially nowadays, right? Like it's one thing to go to say Walmart or like a grocery store and just buy something off the shelf, not knowing, not really caring about brand. It's another thing, especially service-based. So for all of our coaches here, it's a very, very different thing for services where people could decide to buy a service anywhere, especially if they're going to spend a good chunk of money doing it. They're not just going to like take it off the shelf and buy it, right? If they're spending money on it, they want to feel really good about that purchase. And to feel that way, people buy from people. They want to feel really good about working with you specifically. So why should they feel really good working with you? What is your superpower that makes them want to work with you? That makes you stand out to them, that makes them feel really good and trusting about making that investment to work with you? So much I could say about this one. This is so good. Okay, number 4, positioning for success. Positioning is a good one. Again, so many things I could say about this one. Positioning really gets into your ideal client, your niche, which you probably hear about a lot, but I want to kind of caveat this and say like your ideal client, this isn't about really structuring the perfect like avatar of a person where you know their hair color and you know where they go shopping and you know what they do and how much income they make and what they do when they come home from work, right? Like you don't have to have that all figured out. I have definitely done exercises like that in the past and it has not been helpful. If anything, it spent way too much time trying to figure that out and was never the thing I actually needed to do for business. So do not get caught up in that. The thing about your ideal client though, is understanding the important parts you do need to know about them that's going to be directly related to the service that you provide or to your offer, to your product, right? Why would a person be interested in buying what you have to offer, right? What is the problem that they have, which I'm going to get more into later? why should they be interested in that thing? And more so, who is that person who's interested in your thing, right? Is it male? Is it female? Does that help you? Does it not? I always like to give the idea of like, you don't need to know someone's hair color unless, say, you're a hairstylist and you see someone with, say, like orange hair or, you know, color went wrong. Maybe that's something you need to know as a hairstylist. So you can go up to that person and be like, hey, like, I see your hair, I can help you, right? I have something to solve your problem right now. Like that would actually be very helpful for a hairstylist. If you're a coach, you probably don't care what someone's hair color is, right? And maybe you do, Amy, because you have the purple hair. Maybe you look for people with colors in their hair because that's the type of person you want to work with. Maybe that says something about their personality, right? That could be something, a factor that you look for, and that's okay. That makes sense. In other aspects, maybe hair color has no meaning to your business, right? Instead, you're looking for the person who has the problem that you solve through the product you have, right? Service, offer, whatever you want to call it. Then really identifying, let's talk about your niche for a second, because this is another thing I feel like is so noisy, especially in the online space, about like, you have to have it, kind of like what I was talking about earlier with like telling me that I needed to choose one thing in order to be successful. Like if you don't choose a niche, you're not going to be successful, right? You have to have a specific area in your business. You have to know your niche, right? You have to niche down. And to some extent that is true, because it is going to help you in your marketing, which I'm going to get to next. However, when you are first getting started, that's going to potentially hurt you more than help you. I have a lot of multi-passionate clients who are starting with ideas. And if you pick an idea and niche yourself down, you're kind of like pigeonholing yourself, right? What if you're offering a product and you're like, I'm going to work with this person, this is what I'm going to give them, and you end up hating it, right? I see this a lot with like my VA clients, right? For example, so someone who is a virtual assistant or an OBM or something like that for other business owners, if they niche themselves down into, say, they help with sales funnels instead of just like email management and some of the admin stuff, and they get into doing that and they're marketing it and they get clients and they end up hating it, they're going to want to burn the business down to the ground, right? Because they're not doing what they love. So when you're niching down too fast, especially if you haven't done it yet, if you haven't actually been in and working with a client, whether that's for free or a beta test at some capacity, or it's for like a full price offer, if you haven't actually worked with someone in that specific offer, that capacity, I encourage you to test it out before you niche your entire business down. Try some different things. If you are, let's see here, again, I know we have a lot of coaches in here. So like if you have an offer and like you think you want to work with this type of person, let's take like career coach, for example, right? If you think you want to work with corporate women who want to move up the ladder, I'm making things up, but that's who you want to work with. And then you start working with someone and you hate it, and you realize you actually want to work with men, or you actually want to work with people who are like making a transition in their careers, right? Like, again, you're pigeonholing yourself too soon, especially if you have the website and the social media channels and the messaging and all of the things. You're going to spend so much more time doing all of those things, getting them ready to pitch to professional women, right? Working their way up the ladder. And now you have to change everything. So you're going to lose so much time. You're not actually going to be, because you're doing all of those things, you're not actually focused on working with clients and learning from that and making money in your business. So you're probably still feeling frustrated because you're just keeping yourself busy, which, oh my gosh, have been there. My coaching idea, like I said, this was the idea that I started with. I changed my idea 3 or 4 different times and came back to this because this was the thing I knew I wanted to do. Changed my website quite a few times. You lose so much time, you lose so much energy. It does keep you stuck and frustrated because you keep spinning your wheels, basically. Okay, messaging and marketing. I want to just briefly touch on this. Number one, what's the problem that you solve with your offer? whatever you're offering, there is someone who has a problem that they are experiencing, and positioning your offer as the solution to that problem. Right? So then it's really understanding, what is that problem? Why are they experiencing it? Where are they at right now in their life, or how they're feeling? Like, why are they in this position to begin with? Like, really understanding your ideal client from that problem solution based scenario on where they are, so that you can understand them. When you're able to understand your ideal client from that aspect, and not all of the avatar things, the hair color, all of the things, you not only know how to market to them, but you know how to speak to them, which essentially is marketing, right? You know how to speak to them at a level that they're going to understand, which actually is going to help you with your sales, which is huge. Because I know that let's jump into sales for a minute. There's a lot of, some of you may be really good at sales. I envy those who are naturally good at sales because that has not been me. And I know that there's so many things that come up when we're selling. Like, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be pushy. It just doesn't feel good to do that. I don't want to be the used car salesman that's like persuading people or manipulating people into a sale, right? You are building a business that you love because you love to do it. You're not just, you're not just the car salesman who comes in, has a job, and that's their job to sell cars, right? You are building this business from the ground up and going through a lot mentally and physically and all of the things emotionally to do more of what you love. And being able to sell that is important, because of course you need to sell in order to have a business, right? You need to sell in order to make money. And it is possible for you to sell in a way that feels good to you and doesn't feel salesy or pushy or all of the things that are coming up for you, right? It doesn't have to feel that like anxiety provoking to go and ask someone for a sale. Part of that, going back to the marketing piece, is that what problem are you solving? How are you really speaking to your offer as the solution to their problem? That in and of itself, that takes a little bit of work. So again, like, if you haven't worked with people for this offer yet, if you don't know who your ideal client is, go get some beta test people, whether this is for free, whether this is for a low price, maybe you're ready to sell it at the price you want it to be at, whatever feels the best for you. Go get a client, go get a couple of clients if you can, just to work through the offer and understand what are they experiencing? What's the problem do they have? How do you help them? What are the words that they're using to explain all of this? Because that really becomes your messaging, your marketing. That's really the piece that you can use to help sell that, so that pretty much does the selling for you, right? At that point, you just really have to feel good about your price, your offer. I always like to say you have to be sold on yourself first before you can sell it to other people, right? You have to really believe in your offer. You have to believe in your price enough, which I know can be triggering to begin with, but you have to believe in your price enough to be able to stand behind it and have that conversation, talk about the price, without avoiding the question or feeling, super nervous, which totally have been there. Okay, I just have to share quick story there. My first pricing conversation ever with my first business, it was literally me sitting down at the table. Here's your photos. Cool, what do we owe you? Whatever you think. Like, that's literally what came out of my mouth, and it was terrible. And, it was great because it was my first sale. So like, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter what I got. The fact is I was getting paid for doing photography. So that felt good. However, I knew that I needed to get much better at sales than that, so that it didn't feel that way, right? I don't have to feel, and you don't have to feel either, awkward selling or asking for money. Again, money mindset, so much stuff I could go into there. There's so much that can come up around money and sales and pushing things like that, or feeling like you're pushing, just all of the things. around money, which can make you like want to discount or not stand behind your price or question your pricing and all of those things. So you have to be sold on your offer first before you can really effectively sell it and just have that conversation. Also, of course, it just takes practice too. There's so many other things for this, but at the end of the day, it really does come to you practicing that and having those conversations, letting it feel really awkward those first few times, which is why I tell you that story, to give you so much permission. Can't be more awkward than that. So letting that be awkward, practice, it's going to get easier and easier and easier as you do it. And finally, number 6, you really need to have the right support system. And like I said earlier, all of you guys are solo entrepreneurs, I'm guessing, and really doing this alone. And it can feel so lonely, and you're doing all of the things, you're wearing all the hats, you're making all the decisions, you're questioning yourself along in the process. And it's really challenging. To have that support system is key. One of the biggest things I talk about initially with my clients, you know, one of our first conversations that I always have with every single client is about how, you know, something comes up in conversation with their friends in like, oh, do you think this is a good idea? Or do you think you can really do this? Or same thing from family, right? Like you get the same questions from, let's say your mom or dad, who's like, are you sure this is a good idea? Like maybe you should just go back to your day job, or like don't leave your day job, or keep your day job, whatever that cliche is, right? Like, oh, make sure you keep your day job. There's a lot of comments that you're probably, the things that you're asking yourself, right? Can I really do this? Can I really make this happen? Is this a good idea? You're probably asking yourself those things first. If your friends and your family are asking you those same things, that can be so like knife to the heart feeling, right? Of like, can I really do this? Like I'm asking like, how did they know, right? I'm feeling found out of how did they know that's how I was feeling? Maybe I really can't do this, right? And you're questioning. Fact of the matter is your parents, family, typically want to keep you safe. So they don't, like they mean well by it, right? Majority of the time they do mean well by asking you that. It's just how you are being triggered and taking it in the way of like, you are triggered because that's coming up for you yourself. Your friends most likely aren't starting businesses of their own, right? They have fears and mindset issues of their own that they're just directing at you. It's really not even about you. It's about their own fears of like, they know that they couldn't do it. So they're projecting that onto you, right? So that's a good reframe for friends, but also they just don't understand where you're at because they don't have a business. So having a good support system between, you know, having mentorship, having a coach, having a support system of other like-minded business owners, whether it's other women, whether it's just other business owners, whatever you are going to feel the most support from, so that you have people to talk to who actually understand where you're at, what you're feeling, people who have done it before, which is so, so key. Where even for celebrations, and I found this a lot, where I've wanted to celebrate something huge in my business, even just like getting my first client after so long of not having had one. And what exactly? Yeah. Having a huge celebration and not knowing who to share it with, because nobody's going to understand like you do, right? Like, sure, you can celebrate it with your spouse and significant other, family who love you, and they're gonna be like, cool, like, that's great, good job. And you're like, oh, that's it? Like, this was huge for me, right? So many things. Having the right support system is key. So, okay, 6 different things. I know that was a lot, and I do kind of want to wrap this up fairly quickly, but all of these things are the things that you actually need to move your business forward, to actually be making money in your business, getting in front of the right people, having that offer, having that mindset behind it, being able to sell in a way that feels good, having a support system in place. All of those things are going to be what's going to move the needle forward in your business, which is totally why I've put together my mastermind hybrid, which I want to talk to you about for a second. It has all of these things. All of the things I just talked about are the modules that are going into this mastermind, talking about the support system, talking about all the logistics of business, right? All of these 6 steps and more things that I could talk on for hours. Plus having a support system, someone who's done it before, someone who knows where you're at. I'm really combining all of these 3 things, which is why I've designed this mastermind this way. Why I believe in it so much is because it's not just a mastermind group program. You really do get one-on-one support with me to really dive into what is unique to your situation, what your personal version of success is, how you want your business to look, what your income goal is every month, right? Like how much money you want to be making in your business, what you want your business to look and feel like. All of those personal things, you have one-on-one support with me where we're going to focus on your business and your goals individually. You have that support system with other like-minded business owners who are in this program. I am very picky about who is being in this group because I want it to be that really good fit of people, like-minded business owners who are just getting their businesses started, really diving in and making it happen, and having that peer support with each other to get feedback, to have that support, to celebrate with each other, to encourage each other. All of the things that you may be feeling like you're doing it alone and don't have right now, that is that huge piece. We'll have group calls, different exercises with each other, plus just a private Facebook group so that you guys can actually connect with like-minded people and you don't have to do business alone. You'll also have modules. The 6 different topics I talked about today are the topics for the modules. So we're going to go in more in depth for what we talked about today and deeper through those modules itself to really dive into what all of this looks like for your business, actually taking action to build those pieces into your business. Videos, worksheets. I'm going to have some guest experts come in and talk about some different things for business and how they got started, their own stories as well, which again gives you more of that support system to keep you going. I don't want you guys to be sitting on the couch one day wondering why nothing is working and really wanting to throw in the towel, just like I did just over a year ago. It was the worst feeling in the world, and I don't want you guys to be there or feel that at all. Thank you, Amy. I love it too. I am so excited about this. I wanted to do a mastermind for so long, and it just never felt good until I realized my own superpower, right? Like how I really wanted to do it, which is such a great example of how I wanted to do things differently. Why it was all 3 and not just, if you've been in other courses before, I'm a big one. I don't really believe in just self-study courses because you usually don't finish them. They usually sit, unfinished, or you don't get enough out of them, or you don't get enough personalized information to actually take action on them. Group programs are great, but you really don't get that one-on-one support you need for that personalized. It's really generalized for the whole group instead of personalized to you, which I've definitely felt. And I love one-on-one support, and I work almost solely with my clients in the one-on-one capacity until I put together this mastermind and realized that all 3 together were really the thing to move you forward, which is why I created it. So I'm really, I like get goosebumps talking about it because I'm like, I believe in this so much. Okay, Amy, thank you for being here. I so appreciate it. Let me know if you have any questions. I will send you the replay so you have all of this too. And same with all of you guys here too. I will send it to you. Bye, Amy. So you are going to get all of those different things in this mastermind. It's a 6-month mastermind. However, thing I want to say here, if you are like, this is the thing I know I need, and it scares you, right? Or you're like, I know that the investment, the money piece is a thing for me. I hear you. This mastermind, I am running it. So it's a $7,000 6-month mastermind. I'm running it at an early bird price, which you guys would all get, which is $5,500 again, which can be very scary, especially if this is your first investment. And I get that. Here's what I'm doing. And here's what I want to do for you guys today is I'm actually doing extended payment plans. So it's more than the 6 months to make this way more accessible for you guys and to fit your own timelines. If you are finishing up a course right now, if you're finishing up another program and you can't dive into this immediately, right? We officially will start the mastermind October 1st. However, all of the modules will be self-study. I'll add one a month, right, for the 6 months, but you're going to have those through the mastermind and a year after the mastermind finishes. So you can go through those at any time. Same with the guest expert calls. Those will be live for you guys to join. However, the recordings will be with the modules. So you'll have those to watch later if you can't make it, or if you just don't want that brain capacity because you're finishing something else, or you just don't have time, whatever it is. The the group calls, let me start here. The group mastermind calls will be between October and March, right? October all through March. We're going to have a couple calls per month for the group. I'm going to do, there'll be 4. There'll be 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening to help out, especially for different time zones and locations and things like that. So that way, if you can't make one, you can definitely make the next week. Those will be throughout the 6 months. However, the one-on-one calls is the part that I'm extending. So with the extended payment plan and the one-on-one calls, we can stretch this to help make it way more accessible for you so that money doesn't have to be an issue, or you don't have to just drop $5,500 and hope for the best, right? Like, I want you to get the most out of this, which is why I have these one-on-one calls in it. This could look like, I've done some like 10-month, I've even done some 12-month extended payment plans for a couple people in this group already, because it fits their timeline. It fits them finishing up their other courses that they're doing right now. And for some, it even, I have one who is quitting her day job, and that's actually going to extend into the support that she needs to do that effectively. That's what's most important to me. I am not just about, you're not just a number to me. You're not just a sale. This isn't just about getting multiple people into a program and doing it again and again. Like, that's not how I work. You are not a one size fits all. I know that payment plans are great, but don't always work for how they're set up, which is why I really work with you one-on-one to figure out what's going to work best for you. I don't want money to just be an issue, like the only thing holding you back from doing this. I do fully believe that this is the thing that will help your business move forward, so you can actually make money doing it. So you can actually have a successful business, so you can feel confident and feel like you have a legit business because you have all of the tools to get you started, which is what I did not have getting started and what I wished I had. So I really created the program that I wished I had had getting started, instead of all of the little different things that I did, and really learning from trial and error what worked and what didn't, right? So that is what I want to share with you guys today. If this is something that you are interested in, I'll send a email, like I said, with the replay and everything after this call. If this is something you're interested in, all you have to do is reply, go to my website, book a call with me. Like, let's chat about your situation. Let's chat about your business. If you're worried about this not working for you, if you're worried about other things that are coming up for you, let's just talk it through. Talking about feel good sales, I am not a used car salesman. I will not push you into anything. I want to make sure that this is the right fit for you too. And if it's not, that's okay. If it's not the right time, I get it, right? But if you do feel like this is the thing that you want, let's just have a conversation. Let's see what it looks like. Before everyone hops off, I want to end this with a drawing. So I have this little wheel here, which I'm going to spin with everyone who is here today. And you are going to get a free 30-minute coaching call with me. And also anyone who's here today live for the training, who enrolls in the mastermind, you're also going to get a free 2-hour intensive with me. This is a $700 offer that I am gifting you for free, because I want you to have that support for your business. For you personally, you're going to get all of the other things in the mastermind too, and we're gonna have this intensive to really dive into your business. Very hands-on, let's dive into your business. You get my eyes and ears and all of the things on your business. This is really the thing that'll help you personally really dive in and get you going. So if you enroll in the mastermind, you're going to get that. for the free 30-minute coaching call, I'm going to hit this. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Amy, which has just left, I'll have to email her when after this. But Amy, you will get the free 30-minute coaching call with me, which I'm super excited about. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Are there any questions that you guys have from the content today? I would love to do, for those of you who can stick around, if you have any Q&A, I'd love for you guys to ask that. Go ahead and type them into the chat. I'm going to go through this, make sure I didn't miss anything. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is so fun to see you guys. Okay. Oh yes, Katie, you really feel your superpower. When it comes to the online space, it feels different. Ooh, that's interesting. That's so good. So physical pain management, mental pain management. So pain management, I mean, is the same for both, right? They're going to have that mental and that physical when it comes to pain. So why does it feel different when it's online versus in person?
Can I talk? Is that
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I thought I heard
Awesome.
you come on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, like when I'm training in person, I can actually like feel the muscle, and like a lot of the times I can pinpoint what is going on by working with them physically. It's a little bit more challenging when it's like over like Zoom and stuff, because I do a lot of like tissue releasing and things like that they can't necessarily do on their own unless they go to somebody who is skilled in this area. And you know, that's like my superpower. Like if I can like feel your muscle or your tendon and it's just like, oh, it's triggering from this spot, you know, like I feel like I have more control over my superpower in that way. And then I can kind of like get them into the mental side of like why this is causing that pain.
I like that. So that's good. I mean, obviously I'm not going to solve this for you, but how could you think about it in a way of like, you, even in the online space, you still have this superpower. The superpower still does exist. You still have that knowledge. How could you translate it in an online setting?
So that's kind of like where I'm getting caught up on, because like sometimes like I don't even know what's going on with them, because they don't know what's going on with them until like I can physically get my hands on them, type of thing, right? Because like if there's like if they're like having knee pain, the trigger point could be like something from the back, or it could be like from the ankle and things like that too. And so sometimes I don't know that until I do like tissue release and I like follow the path that their body goes, and then I can figure out that trigger point.
Interesting. So good. So just ideas. Obviously, I don't know logistics. I'm not a physical therapist. With having this knowledge though, like again, you still have the superpower because you have the knowledge of how to do this. Is there a way that you might be able to teach them how to do part of this on themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I have like my own pain management library and things like that too. But like, that's where I feel like my superpower doesn't show as much, because this is like actually teaching them how to, you know, deal with their stuff. And sometimes they're just like, I don't want to do it. I want you to fix it and everything. Cause like I have magic hands, you know? So
that's your superpower. You have magic hands.
I do have magic hands.
I love that. Interesting. Definitely more to explore there, right? It's like you do have this online library. Mm-hmm. How could you make it so that your superpower comes out more, even if it's not physical touch?
Right. So, you know, like give them the pain management library and have them kind of go through it themselves to kind of you know, be more in tune with their body, because the clients that come to me are totally disconnected. They've had pain, chronic pain for years, and they just have put it in the back of their head. And so they're just like, I don't want to deal with it. If I don't put attention to it, it'll just go away. But it's like this achiness and stuff. So the pain management library teaches them to tune into their body, to actually figure out the signal cues that their body is telling them, like, hey, something's wrong. Get it from the dull spot instead of getting it to the sharp spot where they can't do anything. And then, you know, with that personalized calls, then I could kind of like fine tune like where it's at once they're more in tune with their body. Because that's what I do with my in-person clients. I coach them through how to listen to the signals that their body is telling them.
Mm-hmm. So good. So again, don't know your logistics here about how you take them through this, but potentially, because you're so hands-on with your physical, like in-person clients, how could you be more hands-on with your online clients? Like, they have this vault, are they using it? This library, I'm going to call it a vault. How are they, like, are they using it? Are they diving in and like really getting out of it what you want? Or how could it maybe, like, how could you keep them accountable or be that hands-on approach online to make sure that they're doing it, but that they're really getting things out of it? Like, what would help them really get that hands-on with you? Does that make sense? Sorry for the barking.
Yeah, no, you're good. See, that's a tricky one, because like when I first meet with a client, like hands-on, I do that evaluation assessment. So I'm just like, okay, you got bam, 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 you've got these issues. This is how we're going to handle this, go through my 5-step process, and then it's like easy going. With the online stuff, I can't physically do an evaluation on them because it's like, I probably can, but I just have to tweak it. So yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting.
I forgot to unmute myself. Sorry, that was my bad.
Oh.
I muted it because of the dogs. I like how you said you probably could, but you're not sure how yet. That's the piece to explore. Yeah. And really, like I was talking about, and we've kind of chatted about this too, but like really understanding your client, like what they are, if they're even diving into that that library to begin with, or like what is stopping them, right? Or how you can make that most effective for them, right? Because it's not in person. And really playing with like that how piece of nobody else is going to know this how but you, which is part of your superpower. So definitely
right. Exactly. Because like, even if like, because with my online clients, or not my online clients, my in-person clients, like I have a call consultation with them, kind of like prepping me for the actual evaluation. And then when they come into the evaluation and I have my superpower going like full speed ahead, it's just like, oh, are you having issues in your ankle? They're like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about that, but I can see it because like I know what to look for.
Okay. Is that you know what to look for because of like what you're physically doing with them?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a way that you could know what to look for without having that touch?
This is what I need practice with.
So perfect. So how could you get a practice client to like having these questions that are in your head? How could you have a practice client to like walk through this and be like, okay, cool. This is what I'm learning from this.
I guess having them verbally talk to me more, because like a lot of the times in person, it's just like, I already know like, oh, you're walking sideways, so this is a hip and like neck issue. You know, like getting them to talk more about it, about their body, how they're feeling. So that does kind of prime them for, oh, okay, I'm really not that connected to my body. Okay, I do need her help.
Love that. So what are some of those questions you could ask them to get them talking? Or that maybe they're like, oh, I don't realize how disconnected I am.
Right. So it's just like, okay, like where's that massive pain spot? Okay, say it's like in the low back region and stuff. It's just like, okay, so push on that spot and tell me if that's radiating into another place, because then that can guide me into the trigger spot. Does it feel tight here?
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I love that you you know what you're doing in your brain when you touch someone, right?
Mm.
And like do that, and they can tell you. So now it's like, how can you translate that to help walk them through it themselves, since you're not there to be like, here, I'm gonna push on you. Right? Like,
Right.
how can you more verbally walk them through that? Ask the right questions to get the answers you need to still have your superpower be effective.
Yeah. Yeah. Just asking the right questions, asking a ton of questions. Does this feel dull? Does this feel sharp? Is it radiating somewhere else? Okay, if follow that radiation and then find that trigger spot. Is it tight? Is it sensitive? This thing. So it's more of like a hands-on approach to actually teach them what they're doing, because in person, I do it. And I've got magic hands. And they think I'm their hero. But I do have magic hands, but I want to give them those tools that like really make them feel like, oh, I've got this. I do have control over my body.
I love that.
I like this, Danielle. You're asking good questions.
And you're going to be too, right? This analogy came to my mind, so I thought I'd give it to you. But it's this idea of like, you have magic hands. You like, that's kind of the language that you're using, is just going in and working with them. So now it's like translating to a different language on how you do that, right? Because now it's virtual. So it's like think of like sign language versus like just verbal, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna have to have my husband be a guinea pig.
There you go.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Okay. Yes.
Perfect.
All right.
Well, thank you
for
being here.
Yeah, thank you for having